My black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white, yeah, it's black and white, we're just black and white, it's my black and white, it's my black and white scarf.
Good evening, welcome to the Town End Podcast. We are 3 in a row 1-0 victories, but we would have took them at any stage. Anybody wants to throw up some facts on the last thing Dundalk won 3 games on the bounce with 9 points. Pingu might be able to interest with some facts here. The Chicago Coothill Bull. Pingu, what is the crack for tonight? We are probably the first time in a long time we've been only on the podcast ourselves. You're just on mute there as well. Just unmute yourself.
It's probably better off that way.
Yeah. We spoke a couple of weeks ago, myself and Chris, and talking about it was going to be a good season, an exciting season, but 3 wins on the bounce, 1-0. But probably the obvious thing is that we're defending we're defending like lions. We're resolute. We're tough to beat down, and Kerry found that out the hard way tonight, didn't they?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Gally. I feel like it's your podcast now. This something nearly as strange as us winning £300 as me being on back-to-back weeks of a podcast. But no, I would 100% agree with you. Myself and Chris talked about it last week. Is one thing about
Pingu, have you absolutely frozen on me? I'll just bring you, I'm going to remove you and bring you back in. Apologies, folks, just 1 second. Tin Tomato, yeah, we actually spoke about this on our podcast as well, on our podcast group. I think that's probably the line of the year when it comes to commentating, that they can commentate on it. That is up there with one of the best. I remember UCD talking about local craft beer. I think that commentated, Pingu, you actually mentioned this Tin Tomato's comment. It is right up there with it should be put in the Louvre on some kind of plaque.
100%. The commentators tonight were just, as I think I said before the match, or at the very start, I'd love to do a commentary corner every week. These first division commentators are just unreal. But you'd asked me beforehand about the 3 wins back to back, and we talked last week about myself and Chris just about knowing Kieran Kilduff, and he's someone who wants to have structure in his team, and you could see that tonight. And I mean, it was a tough watch in that second half with all the defending we were doing, but as the minutes kept progressing and it was getting later and later, I felt a little bit more at ease that we could actually hold on here, and I think that's proven in the way he set it up. So yeah, I think it's resolute defending for 2 weeks in a row. Like, we defended very well last week against Finn Harps as well, but tonight, backs against the wall, down to 10 men. I think it was they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah, and I think that's probably going to be, especially in first division, where it's a rough and tumble league. It's I know the old cliche of it being a physical league, but these type of wins, although 1-0, you want to see a few more goals. In later weeks to come and later months to come, these are the ones that are going to be vital. I mean, yes, it's going to take us a couple of weeks to get into it. Look, we would have chewed your hand off for 3-1-0 wins at the end of last season to kind of keep us afloat. But that's the kind of season we're probably going to be looking at. Albeit, we haven't played this kind of league before, these kind of teams. But I mean, you don't want to take 1-0s every week. But I think we're probably just at the stepping stone to the starting point of maybe 6-7 games time where we start to maybe get into double figures of goals and get a little bit more free flow to the game, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think one thing again, I feel like I spent all of last week referencing the commentators, but one thing that they mentioned in the second half is this Dundalk team is the Premier League side that's playing in the first division, and that couldn't really be further from the truth. Out of every team that's in the division right now, Dundalk's probably the newest in terms of personnel. We only have, who is it, Dervin, Dervin and Horgan are the only senior players that you would say that we retained from last year. I know you've Kyo, you've Mayowa, etc. that got some runs towards the end of the season last year, but you're really saying that those two lads are the only two with significant Premier Division experience that we have. You know, Keith Ward obviously as well came on for the last few minutes tonight, but I think, you know, we have to be realistic about it. It's fantastic results, and I think it's a results business, you know. And I think if we'd have gone to Kieran Kilduff, or I think if we had a podcast, you know, a conversation before the season, we'd said it'd be great. Like if we won our first 3 games, we wouldn't give a shite about what the scoreline is. It's just about getting the wins. And you could see tonight, even just after the send off in the first half, especially, you could see there was a little bit better movement in comparison to last week as well. And I just hope now with each game, the players going forward just get to know each other a little bit more, you know. And I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but long may these 1-0s continue until the boys get to know each other better.
Yeah, I reckon that, like, there's no true word spoken. We did start slow. We probably started slow in almost in the last 3 matches and 1 or 2 in pre-season as well. But we did get our goal. Now, anybody watching the League of Ireland stream will know that there wasn't any replays. So if you didn't catch all the instances, like, you're not going to catch it probably for another hour, or probably on too early. But we did catch the goal. Nice we build up play. Dean Ebby's probably not due a goal, but it's nice to get the strikers that were signed, the likes of an Owen Kenny. You know, we're probably just missing him now on the back on the score sheet. But somebody like Dean Ebby getting in there, top scorer last year for Athlone. Nice to get him off the mark then for the season. Yeah,
it's just funny. I just had to make one comment because you mentioned there that we started slow in all the games, apart from last week where we scored after 2 minutes. I just want to reference that. But no, I would agree with you. I think, look, Ebby's came in, probably one of our signings that's came in with a bit of an expectation in him to perform, and he didn't show it. He came off pretty early last week against Finn Harps in the second half as well. Didn't probably, you know, it's all about building match fitness. Still very, very early in the season, so there's nothing to say that he can't hit that. But I definitely think you can kind of see by the way he struck that, there was no way that the goalkeeper was going to stop it.
It's a proper finish, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he wanted the goal, and he wanted that monkey off his back sooner rather than later. And in fairness, it was a great strike. You know, like there was enough power, as I say, behind it that a goalkeeper's not really going to stop a goal like that. I know the keeper did get his hand to it, but it's great, and it's great for a player with those kind of expectations to get that, because he seems to be the kind of focal point in the attack for Kilduff's team.
Yeah, and probably after that, Kerry probably felt, you know, Kerry never looked like they were scared of us tonight. Now, I know, like I keep saying, we are the team to beat probably down there for everybody, but they asked a tough pitch, that didn't seem to phase them too much playing us. I know, obviously, it's probably the biggest crowd they've had in a long time. I mean, I know it's a nice wee ground that they have, but, you know, I think they didn't really feel playing the ball. They were well, you know, full backs high up the field, centre backs up high up the pitch. Although they get the bit of luck that we're going to come to now, not the bit of luck, I suppose, again, we haven't seen the replay, but I mean, it's come across. Chris has commented on it as well in the chat we have. There's no probably need for it. I mean, I don't know why he finds himself with his foot so high, Leo Gaxa. I don't really know. I've seen the replay since. Again, there's only one angle of it. There's a bit of a block from another player that you can't really see it completely, but you can hear in the commentators or from the crowd that it's a bit of a nasty challenge. And I suppose, you know, you've probably seen worse, but I mean, the referees, you know, you give the referee that kind of decision, as the commentators did allude to, as the way I'm missing some commentating tonight. You can't really argue with the red card, can you?
No, it was, for me, it's a straight red. I missed it on the stream, but I managed to, I think the League of Ireland account has it on Twitter. But yeah, it was a very stupid challenge. And it was at a point where we weren't behind, you know, like we weren't under a lot of pressure either, so there was really no need for going in, and it was high up the pitch. I just don't know what he's thinking. Do you know what I mean? Going in like that.
It's a 50-50 ball. There's no need, like, even when you run, if you slow it down, you're not getting technical, but I mean, if he just keeps running straight, he probably gets the ball, or probably gets, like, there's absolutely no need. It's not like he's running on goal. It's just a crazy, especially nearly in the halfway line at the pitch as well. It's a real, I know there's a bit of bite there he's played for them, but, like, I mean, God, it's only the first half of a football match. It's a real, like, the head's in his hands walking off shows that he's kind of embarrassed, or he probably wasn't expecting himself to do what he done, but it's a really crazy moment of madness.
Yeah, no, it was. you know, I'd have sympathy again. He's a young enough player as well,
course.
Gaxi, and it's a learning experience for him. But I would agree. Am I still there?
Okay. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good. You're
Okay, sorry, the screen just went blank. The screen just went blank on me. Shit myself there again. It worked fine for me last. It worked fine for me last week with Chris.
That's my luck.
I don't know what happens when you get on. I always drop. But no, I think looking at Gaxa, he was kind of. I flagged him as one player to watch last week. On the pod with Chris, and was hoping to see it. And you could see it, you know, before the sending off, he was getting on the ball and everything, and to lose a player of his quality and a player that looks like he's going to be real quality for us, it was just it was disappointing. And as I say, he'd probably be the first to admit there's no excuses for it. You know, it just seemed like a daft thing to do in a place on the pitch where, you know, even if he doesn't win the ball, it doesn't make a huge difference.
Exactly.
Like, it's not like it's right in front of goal. And it just felt like there was honestly there was no need whatsoever.
Speaking of obviously players to watch, our connection with Owen Kenny, the Prince, playing in the Kingdom tonight. We go down to 1-0. We go down to 10 men at 1-0, and from a corner kick, Kerry are caught really short. You're almost, as you're watching it, you're just expecting the goal. You know, Owen's a fantastic talent. Goals like that, chances like that, he's going to have to start mopping them up. I mean, I know we're very early in the season, but running 1-on-1 with the keeper, you know, a little dink over. I mean, obviously that's probably the way most strikers would probably go with it, but obviously he's missed. Look, your luck side. He's had a chance a couple of minutes later that is offside, albeit he puts it in the side netting. But little finish like that, you think they're playing his mind. It's a cracking chance for a striker, especially when we're down to 10 men, to be running kind of freely in on goal.
Yeah, it was the same. It was the same last week. You know, I feel like there's definitely confidence, crisis of confidence in front of goal, and there was that chance where I think it was probably harder to miss than it was to score. But I think the commentators actually got something right tonight. I think they said he probably had a little bit too much time on his hands in that run in. You know, I think he probably in his head thought this is going to be a tap in, like this is going to be relatively easy for him, and probably just the moment got away from him a little bit. But then he had another chance then not long after that as well, and then there was another chance. There was three chances almost in around the last 15 minutes of the half where the other one, obviously it was called offside, but he actually missed that one as well. So it feels for me again, I actually thought once Ebby went off and in the second half where he was kind of at the focal point for a while, he worked very, very hard. So I don't want to be too critical on a young player like that, but it does, and just to echo kind of what I said last week, it feels like a little bit of a crisis of confidence in front of goal, and I think he's probably trying too hard to get his goal. Where, you know, we look back to the first half to Ebby's goal where he just smashed it. He knew, you know what I mean, this is going in the back, and he's full of confidence. I think if that one-on-one probably fell to Ebby, it's a different story. I think it's just at the minute, I think Kenny probably just needs to get another one under his belt and kind of get that, you know, monkey off his back again and give him that confidence back. It just really feels like a crisis of confidence at the minute.
Yeah, I think there's that eagerness with him. Obviously he's young, and there's a lot right. There's a lot of fans that have a lot of faith in him. You know, given the bloodline there and the coach that his father is and was for Dundalk, you know. The worry is that, you know, if it goes on any longer, I don't expect it to go on any longer, but you're right. I mean, it's not like he's not working towards the goals. He's not like the work rate he's put in before the goal, the build up even to the offside one, he's done tremendous work to get in there. It's just like you say, that little split second in front of goal is just letting him down a little bit. You know, you kind of want, especially with the one-on-one in particular, you really want to put them away, but it's just probably, it's going to niggle at him to get off the mark now, especially with Dean Ebby's off the mark as well. We've had obviously 2 defenders scoring over the last couple of weeks, so it's nice to get the strikers off the mark. But like you said, Ebby going off was probably a chance then, but it seemed to dry up after that. There wasn't seem to be, you know, Luke Mulligan kind of with a couple of run-ins. Darryl Hogan, we can talk about, he's a 2 or 3 chances as well. Again, in front of goal, not taking them. But Owen himself probably just needs that kind of deflected goal, whatever it may be, to get a touch on something, just to kind of kickstart the season for him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like we all know the player that he can be, and just while you were talking there, I was thinking back to, you know, he went obviously 2 seasons ago. He went on loan to Wexford and had a very successful loan spell, and due to that, he was kept in Oriel, and he didn't get a lot of playing time. Like he didn't, you know, get the opportunity maybe that he could have got. Had he gone on loan again last year, so he's probably playing catch up a little bit as well in terms of getting that game readiness. Where I feel like maybe if he had went on loan again, look, it's easy to look back, but if he had went on loan again last year, back into the first division and got some goals, you probably have a different beast this season. So again, when we talk about expectation, he's another player that I feel like us as supporters, and even how Kieran has talked about him in some interviews, I feel like there's an expectation on him to deliver, and he probably feels that himself, and with every chance like that he squanders, you don't want it, especially again, as I keep saying, it's still very, very, like, we're only 3 games into the season. You just don't want that to kind of mentally affect him. But it just feels, as I say, it just felt tonight that those chances, and even last week he had that chance from a yard or two out for the header, where it feels like a confident player's putting those away with ease, and hopefully it'll come. Look, I think he's gonna have opportunities with Gaxa obviously out, at least for the next match. I think it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to be starting again. So all those starts just is another opportunity for him to get among the goals.
Just as we're talking about Owen, that was near the second half. We went to the second half. It's again Kerry probably slightly better team. I mean, I'm not saying they were world beaters, but they obviously wanted to take advantage of that. The fact they had the extra man. Now, it didn't look like they had an extra man. It looked like we were resolute. You could see the experience. You could see what Kieran Kilduff and Ken Kieran have brought to the table there, and Liam Bones and the training of these lads. Like Vinnie Leonard, excellent at the back. We had McHale on. Kyo again. Top class again. But I mean, albeit not a massive amount of pressure on them, but Kerry probably looked slightly the better team. Probably. I know we were commentating on, how they were doing it, but I mean, they were getting in on top of Minogue. They were trying to send balls in and create a bit of confusion. Probably the last third of the pitch, they're probably missing something. But I mean, they had no problem going for it. I mean, they really wanted whatever hook or by crook they wanted to do it. They were kind of going in over the top a lot. But I mean, Enda Minogue was mopping them all up. A couple of comments we've had in already from man of the match. I think there's, I don't know if there's many more after that, but they weren't afraid to go at us. I suppose that's probably the best way of putting it.
Yeah, I think if I don't hear Daniel Akuta's name for the next 6 months, I'll be happy. He just looked a great player, but it looked like, every time he got on the ball, he was getting crosses in, he was making things happen. And again, this is the difference now in the level that we're at, is we can be resilient and that the quality of a Porrick Almond or a Patrick Hubin's not in the first division now. So, there's that. But, I mean, Minogue, for me, probably out of all our signings, 3 games in has probably been the most impressive. How he commands his box. Again, just he marshals it. And I think I said it last week, or Chris might have said it, that it's probably one of the first times since Gary Rogers that we actually have a goalkeeper that really, really commands that 18-yard box and has made it his own. I don't even think we saw that with people like Nathan Shepherd. Maybe a BB commanded his box when we had him, but it's fantastic to see it, and it's again, looking at how young that back line was again tonight. I just think those people just putting their foot to anything, and getting rid of it on the edge on the line tonight as well. There was that one chance where. I don't think I can commentate on that. Was brought out, there was that chance. But the thing that's impressed me most is our young lads are playing like men. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record referencing back to last week. I said the same last week when Finn Harris put us under pressure. But it's just these lads are playing like they've been in the league for 5-6 seasons. They look like seasoned professionals, and I think that's one of the most promising things that I've seen out of this team. And they really have there's an element of self-belief, and you could see that at the end of the match too.
And obviously going on the opposite end of the scale, one of our elder statesmen, and Darrell Hogan's had 2, possibly 3 good chances in the second half as well. He's run in, and you expect, and look, and I don't mean to sound down and out on a first division league, but I mean, you'd expect him running in on a first division goalkeeper, I suppose, to kind of put it, but it's just never a fantastic block. The defender's name escapes me, but then he's had one after that as well. It probably takes a little bit too much out of the ball. I don't think Darrell Hogan has the same maybe confidence lacking that Owen Kenny might have, but maybe just one of those nights from where it just didn't sit right from on the night.
Yeah, I think it's just the decision making again. Like
Yeah.
he had a couple of really, really, really good chances, and there was one actually very near the end of the game in the last 10 minutes where he could have squared. I think it was Mulligan maybe had made a late run into the box, and Mulligan had earlier put one over the bar. I think it was about it's in a field somewhere in Kerry, but the commentator said it was a good effort. But Mulligan had a chance where if Horgan had squared it across, it was a tap in, and
Yeah.
I think that's where he's kind of at right now, is just that decision making. To your point, I don't know if it's a lack of confidence, maybe it is, but there was one chance where he was 1-on-1 and he was through with the keeper, and you were just thinking like the Darrell Horgan special, just sliding it past the keeper, but he tried to turn and then he tried to turn again. Maybe he just felt the defender on his back and he kind of stopped at the last minute. But he's another one. If we're gonna kind of have an opinion on Kenny, I feel like the game could have, for all the defending we done, the game could have been beyond doubt with 7-8 minutes to go. Even before extra time tonight, had Darrell made better decisions.
Yeah, and I think it's probably although I know you're tired, you're 10 men, but although we as commentators or whatever you want to call it, podcasters, we expect what we expect from clowns, what we expect. But like even you look at Luke Mulligan there coming on, had a chance again. He probably could have squared it, but it's go back to your point just on the like of Vinnie Leonard and Sean Keogh. It's these lads even been on the field to get these chances. That's what we've been screaming for. I know it's first division. I know it's taken the first division to bring these lads through. We probably, for mid-table Premier Division last year, they probably don't get the chances. But these chances are going to come for these lads, and they're going to have to learn or have a little bit more confidence in front of goal, because it could be the making of a game. Someday we're going to get caught. We're going to concede eventually. We've gone 3 games without conceding. Touch wood, it continues. But these little finishes, and someone like Kilduff, a striker by trade, he'll have them in working on it and things like that. A little bit of confidence, a little bit of. They're probably looking to a Darrell Horgan, maybe not tonight, but that little bit extra, those little bit of nuances that they need just to finish that ball would make a hell of a difference over the next kind of 10, 12, 15 games.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I think it's going to come, as I keep saying, it's still early in the season. Yeah. So I think those opportunities are going to come. But yeah, it's great to see those young lads, even Sean Keogh, I think in the, dying embers of the game at one stage. He managed to go forward. I think it was another good chance at Horgan. He came running in late, and there's a confidence about these young lads, as I say. I can't talk highly enough of them, because
there's an eagerness.
There is, and there's a desire that maybe has been lacking for a few years, and that's not anybody's fault. I'm not throwing any blame at anyone who was there previous, but there just seems to be that willingness to get into the fight. But these lads just trying to get forward and trying to take chances. I think it's great to see, and it's great to see local lads as well, that are doing it. You can tell they're playing for the jersey, and you can see it full time what it meant for them.
Yeah, and we're speaking to the youngsters. I remember even over the last couple of seasons, like we talk about like Kerry's last couple of minutes there tonight, really plugging the goal. But when we made substitutes, we weren't worried about the substitutes. Normally when if you're bringing on a young player, we've had this year of, they're kind of bringing in someone to fill the gap. But now we're seeing these players that they're ready. Young Perisic there, like 17 years of age, an absolute beast. Leonard, 16. I mean, I know hasn't come off the bench, but the bench is now full of players that can change a game. Whereas for years, we probably had young fellas coming in that maybe out of their depth at the Premier Division at the time. But now Kilduff and Ken Kieran and Liam Burns have put together a little almost squad on the bench where, lads, when we need you have to, when you're called upon, you're in. And they seem to be just added. A Ruby as well, we haven't even mentioned him. Like all these prospects in James Nelson there, these are going to be massive players during the season for us. Yeah.
What's the name of the lad you said a minute ago? Perisic?
What did I call him?
Well, no, is that right? Is that his name?
Is he Panovich?
Yeah.
Correct me.
He came on at one point near the end of the game, and he busted a Kutia just to win the ball, and gave one of these
17 years of age, just an absolute warrior.
He gave one of them straight to the Dundalk fans, so you can tell, like, what I mean, like these are the kind of things that you can tell what it means, and it feels, for the first time in a long time, the connection between the players on the pitch and the fans is there, and they're lifting each other. You know what I mean? Where, as I say, it just, to your point, like, I think the players that are coming off
Parashiv, I apologise.
Parashiv,
She said Parashiv for weeks.
Yeah, no, I think we like these young lads, to your point, like on the bench, and even Keith Ward coming off the bench, they're not just coming on to make up the numbers. They're coming on to nearly prove a point. Like, it felt like every player that came off the bench today played a little bit better than the player they came on for, and tried a little bit harder than, to prove that they want to start. And it's good. It's good to have competition. And again, I feel like, the last few years, especially, we've been in situations where we've had a strong first 11, first 12, 13 players, and then everybody else kind of open market. And your position's not in doubt. But it felt that and tonight, even down to 10 men, like, it felt like these lads that came off the bench were trying to make a point. That can only be a good thing.
Yeah, I think we're just seeing comments. Just going to bring up James Brady's comment there. Thoughts on a Ruby, obviously one of the signings that Kieran Duff made early on in the season. We actually asked him about it in the night we had in the Lillywhite as well. He seems to be, a really good prospect. He seems to be someone that, has played a Premier Division, has played, a decent level, not many games, but, enough, more than me, I suppose, more than me and you think we put together. But, looks a real prospect. I'm almost surprised he's probably come off the bench. We kind of talked at the start of the season that we might see Kenny, Ebby and Arubi play. We didn't expect probably Leo Gaxon maybe to play as much, maybe fitness-wise, but definitely someone that can almost get into the starting 11, but coming off the bench is a massive plus. He looks
I thought when he came on tonight, it's a difficult time to come on as an attacking player. When he came on, he replaced Kenny, I think, but he done his best to put himself about. He made it difficult for their defence to keep the ball. There's a couple of times where he did manage to get in around the back, and I think he had one opportunity where I thought he could have got in and got a chance and maybe got a goal for himself. But I thought, on tonight's view, and it's hard for an attacking player to give an opinion if they come off the bench in that second half. But there's little flashes of what I've seen that I think there's definitely a strong player there. And again, we talk about obviously with Gaxa going to be out, probably a 3-game ban after tonight. I don't think it'll just be a single game. There's an opportunity for him, and we'll probably get a chance to see next week what he's about, because you'd anticipate that he'll start the match.
Yeah, in the last couple of minutes, probably 87, 88. I know there was injury time as well. Kerry had the commentators covered in comment on it. There was that much of a scramble, but I mean, is that something that, like, as what I watching it, it's a weird thing. I don't know if you think the same, but we never looked like we were going to concede, even with that scramble. It just seemed to be that kind of, that resolute kind of, thou shalt not pass, that type of thing. But Kerry were obviously going for it, but I think the Dundalk setup there maybe of 12 months ago, you're probably looking at a bit of bad luck. It's probably in the back of the net. You might even concede 2, but will that Dundalk team take, like we saw the celebration at the end of the game with the fans, and we mentioned the fans as well in a couple of minutes for going down that far, but is that what it's going to be, one of those seasons where we're going to get moments like that in a game where everybody's backs to the wall, but you're confident enough that you can scramble that ball out and get rid of it? Whereas we haven't been like that probably for a couple of seasons. If that happens over the last 2 or 3 years, we're probably definitely conceding.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think the longer the game went on and the more pressure we were getting under, but as the minutes were ticking down, the more confident I was actually becoming that we'd hold out. I think at one stage in around that time, like between 85 and 90, where there's a 5-minute spell where I don't think the ball, it was going out to Kerry. It was almost like a game of table tennis. It was coming straight back into the box, but it looked, and it's probably a little bit down to the match sharpness of our players and what Kieran and Ken and Burnsy are doing in training. But we just seem to be the first to every ball that came in the box tonight. For the most part, I know they had a couple of like half chances and that obviously that scramble, but other than that, it seemed like a Dundalk player got their foot on it, they got their head on it, like we were just, or if you're Minogue, he got his hands on it. But it just felt, like these lads, to your point, is thou shalt not pass. These lads were not letting that ball go in the back of the net, no matter what was going to happen tonight. I think they were going to put their bodies on the line, and I again, I'm sorry, because just the second half it feels very like the second half of last week. The last 30 minutes against Finn Harps, but these are games where it's a test of character, and there's probably nobody happier than Kieran Kilduff now that we not just, I wouldn't even say it's relief, I think it's happier right now. He knows the character of the lads that is in his dressing room, and they all work together, and they all work for each other, and you could see that tonight. There was times where a player a player would kick the ball out and you'd see Minogue going over and patting him on the back, or even at one stage I think where we had a chance late in the game from a corner and we lost it, and Wardy straight away shouting for everybody to get back, and everybody's bursting themselves to get back into position, so again, that's something we probably haven't seen a lot over the years, and it's probably a compliment of where we're at in the first division. We're going to need to be a team like that, but to see the team perform like that, and put in a performance like that, it's great to see, and it's mad, isn't it? From our podcast, we're actually talking positively about our defending. I don't think there's too many times, and we're getting over a half hour out of talking about our defending. But it's
weird. It's
to
not
have
like,
these conversations.
Yeah, it's you're talking about defending, but not like it's not like we were under massive pressure. It's just the way they're able to. They can all play a ball. They're all confident in their ability to defend, and it's a different type of plaudits, I suppose. It's always it's not like we're talking about defending our backs against the wall, and we are it wasn't really like that. It was just like we are confident enough that we can control the ball when the pressure's on us in the final third, and I think that's something we've been missing for the last couple of seasons. I know it is a drop in divisions, but you can only play what's in front of you.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you, but no, I thought every man done their job, and that's all. As a coach, that's all you can ask. Everybody just go in and do what's asked of them, and I thought I can't speak highly enough for the last 2 weeks of what I've seen in that last in the second half of both games.
Yeah, we'll take 1-0 wins right to the end of the season. I don't think we can let tonight pass. Going on 2 more things to go before we wrap it up. But the fans go down that far. I mean, I seen social media, I seen Snapchat, I seen Instagram this morning, boys getting flights, talking about buses, kind of get people on buses. I mean, such an effort to go down that far to Kerry for a game in Mounthawk Park. It's an unbelievable. You can see it by the end of Minogue running to the, we won the cup almost, running to the fans after the game. But it's a serious commitment to go down that far for a game of football, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I think I saw pictures.
I know you travel that far, probably go to walk over there in Chicago. But look,
seeing Ryanair airplanes this morning and everything. I think this was the trip, that our supporters were looking forward to the most. And I think it's very easy when you get relegated after the success that we've had for fans to turn their back, and it seems like the opposite nearly has happened. Like our supporters are actually embracing where we're at. The crack factor is back. There seems to be a buzz generating again, which is great to see. And at 90 minutes, you see that, and again, it's funny. I think it might have been you, Gally, that put it in the group chat. Like we're only 3 games in and celebrating like we lifted the title, but that's what it means to the fans. Like they kicked every ball in the second half with the players, and these are the results that the supporters will remember, and this is the players that supporters will remember, players that try and inch regardless of where we kind of end up after that. But yeah.
Pig, have you frozen me again? It's perfect timing. You're still there, are you? Are we there? We audio, no picture. Well, it's perfect time. We're going to move in. We're going to go ahead anyway.
I think I'm going on, Gally.
Oh, you're okay. You're right. We're going to get your pick on man of the match before we wrap it up. Actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. Yeah, we know we'll do a bit. I was going to do a bit after. We'll get your man of the match first, and then we'll pick someone for the Tony's Pizza with you.
No worries, just in case I drop off again. You know what? It's going to be a very easy pick tonight, but I did think, and I do want to highlight that Harry Groom, I thought was excellent tonight. I think especially in those 15 minutes of the second half after the red card, I think he was everywhere. I think he was top class. I really liked the look of him. I told Chris last week that I didn't really get to see enough of him in the match, but I thought second or first half tonight, I thought he was probably our best player, and he would have been my pick. He obviously got tired very, very quickly in the second half, having to defend that much. But yeah, I think my man of the match, it's very hard to look past Minogue. I think he was excellent, and I think just the way that he commanded his box, the way that he marshalled the back four, and just he was a brick wall in the goal. You know, he just wasn't letting it go past him. So for me, it's Kylie gets man of the match.
Yeah, I think there's probably. I mean, I definitely would have had Vinnie Leonard in the shout. I know there is a shout for Vinnie Leonard, but I really don't think, considering, and you know what it is. It's great to. I don't know when the last time we gave him man of the match. I don't know what he was man. No, correct me. I didn't listen to the end of the podcast. I don't know who got man of the match last week, but it's been a long time. We can talk about a goalkeeper, because we had spoke about this signing, because this was one of the signings we'd mentioned loads of times that was almost a certainty before last season even started. As soon as Kieran Kilduff got the job, I was muted about the job. This name came up straight away. So it's obviously somebody who wanted straight in to kind of get that spine of the team right. So it's great to see Minogue putting in performance like that and absolutely loving it. Like a keeper, I know, look, it's an obvious thing. A keeper that loves making saves, a keeper that loves keeping clean sheets. He seems to have that kind of infectious, almost kind of, you know, almost captain goalkeeper. You know, that kind of way. He almost seems to have this kind of, you know, he's got experience, but he's well fit to do the job. And, you know, even going over to the fans after the game, you know, for me, I think, yeah, well deserved. Vinnie Leonard probably a shout. I think if someone like a Ruby comes on a bit earlier in the game, definitely can change the game, get a bit more out of him. But I do think I don't see anybody other than Enda Minogue for the pizza tonight. I think everybody that's commented in has kind of gone for that way. Pingu, since you're in Chicago there, known for its pizza, I'll let you pick the winner for tonight's pizza.
The winner is the winner. I'm going to give it to Jason Crawley, because I think he's kind of called it as he saw it tonight. In terms of the how the game went. So yeah, congrats, Jason.
Good man, Jason. Get yourself a pizza there. Don't forget to share the wealth. Get some chips, get some sauce, get some curry sauce, get some drinks. Pingu, I want to give you another shout. I got your more Dundalk legends up for your match today. I've seen a couple of boys mentioned today. If you want to give it another plug or any updates coming up for that, even the names for today going up, if anybody hasn't seen it.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate it, Gally. Yeah, so this week we announced it's kind of a Monaghan United contingent plus John White, and I apologise if John White ever played for Monaghan, but the other four lads have all played for Monaghan United. So Stephen Maher is going to play from the 2010 era. Paul Smith, the man that gave us that night down in Waterford in 2008, is going to play. Smitty, a good friend of mine. We also have, I need to get it up because I can't remember. There's that many players, Gally, that I can't remember who all we have. But I have, let me see. I should have had them ready, shouldn't I?
No, well, I caught you on the hop. I said, hello, I get to give you a plug because we want to get as many people up to these games as possible.
That's it, yeah. Brian Gartland's going to play, obviously, captain the team, won a lot of trophies with us. And then last, a defender who kept us up in 2012, which a lot of fans probably don't remember, is Paul Whelan. So Wheelo is also going to play on the day. So as I said to everyone last week, obviously all proceeds are going to Féileacán. I think we have well over $1,000 raised already. And raffle tickets only went on sale this week. So Stephen McKevitt, who's not on tonight, I think he's got about 150 of them still to sell. So no pressure on that, Steph. Prizes for anybody that is listening in, prizes for the night, for the raffle happening after the match include an overnight stay at the Pillow Hotel in Ashbourne, and then 2 exclusive prizes that I can announce tonight is a set of AirPod Pro Series 2 AirPods from Apple. So if you've got an iPhone and you want a new set of headphones, get your name in for the raffle. And then another one, which is going to be a big one, hopefully that'll generate some interest, is we have a signed Andrew Gallagher t-shirt. No, we have a signed Glasgow Celtic jersey that's just been confirmed tonight. So we don't physically have that. We're getting that on the 22nd of March, but it's signed by the current Celtic and hopefully champions elect of the SPFL Premier League this year, Celtic. So hopefully it's going to be a great day. Some of the Dundalk legends, obviously Gary Rogers is playing, Matthew Tipton, Mark Quigley, honestly, some of the best players that I've seen play in Oriel Park in my lifetime.
Great to see players like Mark Quigley. Mark Quigley was an absolute sensational footballer.
Yeah, and we probably didn't even see, him and didn't see anywhere near the best of him in Oriel. But to have some players, and I said it last week, you know, for anyone that's listening in now that didn't listen last week, is one of the biggest things for me is some of these lads never got the real send-off they deserve from their time in Oriel Park. So I'm hoping as many Dundalk fans, it's free in on the day. We'll probably ask you to give, you know, some form of a donation if you attend. That form of a donation will turn into a raffle ticket for you as well. So even just for attending, if you're willing to part with €10, it'll constitute to a raffle ticket for you. But all proceeds going to Féileacán. Unfortunately, myself and some other lads that are playing experienced the loss of their children. So Féileacán do fantastic work, and as I say, hopefully there'll be a good crowd on the day, and it'll be a great day for everyone involved.
Brilliant. Get your shots up, folks. Ryan Haler Show. Easter weekend, Pingu. The 19th, is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, the 19th at 1:30 kick off, because Stephen McKevitt has a plane to catch for his holidays. It's not even a lie. This is a true story.
I didn't even doubt it. I had the first time I heard it, and I didn't even doubt it for a second.
I wanted the game for 3 o'clock, and Steph was like, 3 o'clock's a bit late on Easter Saturday, so we got to move to half one kickoff. Half one kickoff. So it's going to be 1:30 up in Oriel. And I did forget to mention two very important people. Obviously, Mark Rossiter and Darius Kearns are both coaching the Dundalk Legends as well. So two other legends of the club will be there. Joey Malone, I think I mentioned it last week. Joey Malone is also there we go. We can have some prizes. I appreciate that, Kev. But Joey Malone is also going to be there on the day, and we're hoping potentially that maybe Stephen Kenny might come down on the day as well. So there's not just going to be Dundalk legends playing in the match. There's also going to be some Dundalk legends that are just going to be around, and opportunities for our supporters to mingle with some of the real greats from down through the years.
Brilliant. Yeah, just seen that from Kev Adams there, walkingfoodtours.ie. Yeah, brilliant. Shout out. Anybody else that knows anyone wants to donate any prizes, give the town end a shout. Give myself, Chris, Steph, Donald, Pingu, give us all a shout, and we'll pack the place. It'll be sick of buying the raffle tickets for everybody.
Kev, you made a big mistake putting that in where there's a Cavan. Well, I'm not even a Cavan man, but a fellow who grew up in Cavan is looking for raffle prizes. But no, we appreciate that. We'll be in touch.
Brilliant. Fair play, Kev. Fair play. If you'd come on earlier, you might even got a slice of pizza. But look, we'll go after some other day. Pingu, appreciate it. We're treaty next week. 1-0. We'll take 1-0, will we? In Oriel Park.
I think so. Yeah, I think we'll take 1-0.
Treaty coming up.
1-0 and the Prince to finally score.
That's what we're hoping for. Yeah. Just before we go, we'll thank our podcast sponsors. We obviously have Dundalk Village, our main sponsor. Tony's Pizzeria, we get our pizza every week. Player Fit for our gear. And obviously new this year, Mark Carroll and the gang of the Black Mountain Records, who've been unbelievable with our end of season podcast. We hope to make that a yearly thing over the next couple of seasons. Pingu, all eyes on treaty next week.
Yep.
And until then, I suppose you can't go Kurt Hill. Come on to town.
My black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white. Yeah, it's black and white. We're just black and white. It's my black and white. It's my black and